Today's video is all about crescent dough. I've used these to make so many different things, but it's time to try some that I haven't tried before. Hey y'all, I'm Valerie and welcome to my kitchen. In today's video, I'm sharing 3 recipes using crescent dough. They're easy to make and delicious. This video is also a collab with one of my best friends here on YouTube, Amanda from Faith Food and Family. She is so sweet, and if you love the cooking that I do, you're gonna love her. I'll have Amanda's channel linked below, along with her crescent roll video. So as soon as you're done with this one, be sure to go check her out, show her some love, and let her know I sent you. Okay y'all, let's get started on these recipes. These Monte Cristo crescent roll-ups are great to make for an easy lunch. I'm using a sheet pan, but I'm only making 4, so I'm sure you'd be fine with a 9x13. And I'm just using an 8-ounce can of crescent rolls. You're just gonna unroll these, and I'm just using my pizza cutter to separate them into 4 rectangles. Okay, and now you're going to take each rectangle and pinch those seams together. You could also do this with the crescent dough sheets, and then you could just cut out your own rectangles. And these really don't have to be perfect. As long as you get the majority of that seam pressed together, you'll be good to go. And you may think that this sounds crazy, but just trust me. You'll need about 4 or 5 tablespoons or so of strawberry or raspberry preserves. And I'm just putting about a tablespoon of that onto each rectangle. And all you're wanting is a really thin layer. The more you put, the more chance you have of it leaking out. And also, something I learned with these, leave a really small border on that left side, just a little strip without any preserves, that way you can seal it better. I'm using about 1/4 pound of thinly sliced deli meat. I've got half turkey and half ham, and I just did a couple pieces of turkey, and then I went over the top of that with a couple slices of ham. And I probably could have got away with a little bit less of that because these were pretty big roll-ups. I tend to get excited and go a little overboard when I do stuff like this. I feel like more is better, and then I guess I just forget that I still have to roll these things up. Now I'm going over the top of that deli meat with 8 slices of provolone cheese, and I'm just putting 2 slices per roll up. And I am using the thinly sliced kind. Oh, there's a foot there. I had Lainey in her bumbo seat and she just was not having it, so I had to hold her. That didn't last long though, because I needed 2 hands to roll these up. And all I did is start at that right side and roll it on up. And you'll see right here, if I had left that little border, or maybe even if I didn't fill those so full, I would have been able to seal that up a little better. But it still turned out fine. And I've got toys flying everywhere here. She was having a ball. If she's not taking a nap, or if I'm not holding her, she is right here with me. She's 7.5 months old now, so she's going through that really fun stage where she's wanting to play more and she's trying to make noises now. It's just all the fun things. And she's cutting her first tooth, so that's fun. Okay, I got all those rolled up. I had to clean my mess up, and that wouldn't have happened if I didn't overfill these things. I just didn't want those preserves to burn on the bottom there. To finish these off, I'm topping each one with just a beaten egg. You don't have to put much, but just a light little glaze. By the way, if you're enjoying this easy recipe, I would really appreciate it if you would give me a thumbs up. It just lets me know you like recipes like this so I can do more. And these bake at 375 for about 15 minutes, or until they're golden brown. And Lainey had something to say right quick. She was saying these things are delicious and y'all gotta try them. Now, they don't look the absolute best here. I do have one more step for these. I'm dusting each one with powdered sugar. And you don't have to do much, but it is pretty tasty. And it does make them look a lot prettier. All that matters though is these things are delicious. And my little tip for today is if you have something that you like that's not the prettiest, just put it on a fancy plate. And who cares what it looks like, as long as it's delicious. And I think you can tell by the insides of these that they absolutely were. I just wanted to jump in right quick and say, if you're coming over from Amanda's channel, welcome. My name is Valerie and I'm so glad you're here. I do lots of easy recipes, so if that's something you're interested in, go ahead and hit that subscribe button. That way you don't miss out on any of my future videos. You're gonna love these pumpkin cream cheese crescent rolls. You'll need 2 ounces of softened cream cheese. I guess you can tell I had to microwave mine. You're also gonna need 1/3 cup of pure pumpkin puree. I'm also adding 3 tablespoons of brown sugar. And just depending on what you like better, you'll need 3/4 teaspoon of pumpkin pie spice or cinnamon. And just a pinch of salt. Or a smidgen, as my daddy would say. The first time he said that, I thought me and my sister were gonna fall out on the floor. We laughed so hard. Okay, back to the filling. I gave it a really good stir. Then you're gonna set it aside for just a few minutes. I'm using an 8-ounce can of Crescent Rolls, and these are just the Aldi brand. And y'all know you can use any brand you want, but I cook a lot, so I have to stay on a budget. These generic ones can sometimes be a little harder to work with, but it's fine. They're still delicious. And there are a few things that we prefer the name brand over, but these are not one of them. And I'm just separating them into triangles here. I have learned though that the longer they sit out of the refrigerator, the harder they are to work with. And now I'm just taking that pumpkin mixture and I'm dividing it evenly onto those 8 triangles. And this is actually the second time I made these. The first time I made them, I followed a recipe and it was way too much filling. So I had to almost cut it in half. And I still had leftovers. You will need a sheet pan for these. I use these silicone liners, but you could also use parchment paper. And these do get kind of messy, so just be easy with them. I could have put not quite as much filling in them, but that wouldn't have been fun. They wouldn't have been near as good. Just do this part gently, and I found it easier if I rolled it towards me. And if you can, but it's not necessary though, some of these I kind of folded the sides in just to try to keep all that pumpkin in there. Okay, I got a couple more things to add here. I'm just brushing them with a little melted butter, and then I'm going to sprinkle on a little cinnamon sugar. And while I'm thinking about it, I need a little help with something. I've got an upcoming video for cozy fall foods. So when you think of cozy fall foods, what do you think of? It can be anything. I want to hear your favorites. And these go into the oven to bake at 375 for about 15 minutes, or until they are lightly golden brown. Here they are out of the oven and they smell so good. Now I could have left them like they were, but I just couldn't. I made up a little icing. I did about 1/2 cup of powdered sugar and about 1 tablespoon of maple syrup and about 1 tablespoon of melted butter. Mix it up, add 1 teaspoon or so of milk if you need to thin it out, and I just put it in a Ziploc bag and snipped the corner off and popped it on these things. These turned out amazing. If you have family staying with you for the holidays, you'll have to make them this pigs in a blanket breakfast casserole. You'll need 16 sausage links. This pack only had 14 in it though, so you'll see at the end what I did for those other 2. And whatever you choose to use, they will need to be cooked. So after I cooked those and browned them up, I removed them to a paper towel lined plate and set it aside. Now over to the counter, I'm going to make up an egg mixture and then we'll be ready to put all this together. In a medium-sized bowl, I added 5 eggs. I did give them a little whisk before I added the rest. I added half a teaspoon of salt and 1/4 teaspoon of pepper. And also 1.5 cups of milk. And I just used 2%. Now you're just going to make sure all that is well combined. Now I'm making the little pigs in a blanket. I'm using 2 of the 8-ounce tubes of Crescent Rolls. You're just going to unroll them and separate them into triangles. I did try to stretch that wide end out just so I could cover the sausage better. But you're just going to place on a sausage and roll it up. And it really doesn't have to be perfect because we're going to cover it with cheese and eggs. And since I had 16 crescent rolls and only 14 sausages, here's what I did with those last 2. I used some of that thin ham that I had left over from the Monte Cristo Crescents, and I just folded up a couple slices and rolled that up. So if you prefer ham more, you could actually do this with all of them. I bet you could even do this with cooked bacon. What do y'all prefer more of? Do y'all like sausage, bacon, or ham? I probably go through more bacon than anything. I got all those rolled up. I'm making this casserole in a 9x13, and you do probably want to spray it with nonstick spray. Then go ahead and add in all those little pigs in a blanket. And I had to put the ham on the side, that way we knew which one was which. Now I'm covering them with 2 cups of shredded cheddar cheese. We love cheese, and I made sure I used it all. And for my low-carb friends out there, I bet instead of the crescents, you could try using the low-carb tortillas and just cut them in half and wrap that around the sausage. Just an idea. So now I'm covering all that with that egg mixture. And to make it look a little better, I topped it with parsley, just to give it a little touch of color there. Now this goes into the oven to bake at 375 for 30 to 40 minutes. You want that egg mixture to be completely set, and the top will get golden brown. These turned out so good, and Craig is not the biggest sausage fan, but he actually loved these. And like I said, you can always change up the meat and do ham or bacon. You just got to make it your own. I'm here to give you ideas. And it doesn't necessarily mean you got to do it the same exact way. You got to get creative sometimes, and you never know what it's going to turn out like until you try it. But this is definitely going to go on our list of weekend breakfast recipes. I really hope you enjoyed this video. You may also like these. Don't forget to subscribe down below for more easy recipes, and check out Amanda's channel, and I will see you in the next one.